Hello, and welcome to Rainbow Talk with Tanya. I want to break down the Serenity prayer today. I want to break it down because I know that this is a well-known prayer like globally, and a lot of agencies and organizations have actually adopted this prayer as a part of their routine practice when dealing with clients. And people that in patients and things like that. But I really want to break it down because as we read it, and we really take time to like break it down, there are some things that I think will be beneficial to you guys if we would like break it down a little bit more so that we can really understand what we're saying. So I just want to give a little more wisdom with the way this prayer is written and how we can, I guess, tweak it a little bit to make it more effective for the things that we're going through and the things that we're dealing with, right? So the prayer basically says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and then the wisdom to understand the difference. That's basically the short version of that prayer. But so I want to break it down in those three parts. To accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So the first part, when it says to accept the things I cannot change, we want to look at Proverbs 18 verses 21, I believe. And it says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Some things we do have the power to change. It's been said that our tongue is the pen of a ready writer, right? So whatever we say, we have power, and that thing will be, right? Because we have power in our tongue. Now, some things we can't change, some things cannot be changed and some things can be changed, right? So, for example, some things can be changed. Let's say, a woman is having a baby and she wants a girl and she gets a boy. Okay, you can't change that. That's something that you cannot change. So what I'm saying is that, don't let the enemy trick you into using the Serenity prayer to forfeit the power and authority that God has given you. Like, we all have the power to do three things, and we have the power to do three things. Those three things are to bind, to loose, and to let, right? So we can bind something where it won't happen, right? And we can loose something and allow that thing to go on ahead and manifest and happen, right? And then we have the power to let. The power to let is when we just sit there and don't do anything. We don't bind, we don't loose, we just let whatever happens. So those are the three things that we do have power to: bind, loose, and let, right? So what I'm saying is that we don't want to accept everything that comes our way, right? Because God has given us power. He's given us authority to change things in prayer. Things can change in prayer, and things do change in prayer. So I don't want, people to just, oh, I'm faced with this, I can't do anything about it, I can't change it, Lord, God, grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change. First of all, some things you can change, some things you can't change. Like I was saying, you can't change the gender of a baby that you're having. God said you're having a boy, okay, you're having a boy. You can't change that. But some things are, able to be changed, right? So we have to use what God has given us to change those things, right? He's given us power and authority in prayer to change those things. So I don't want you to, to just divert or just fall back on this serenity prayer to just, God, give me the serenity to just, be okay with whatever life is giving me. No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to want to accept. We don't have to accept any and everything that the enemy throws our way. So basically, when the enemy throws something your way, or the enemy, attacks you with something, you're basically praying, Lord, help me to accept this, what it is right now. I can't change it. No, you can't change it, but God can change it. You know what I'm saying? God can change everything, and he gives us the power to do that, to change through prayer. So everything is done by a spoken word, right? So when we speak, things happen, things move. God said, come to him and ask him if the things that we need from him, we have to verbally be able to speak and pray to God. Okay, Lord, I need your help with this. I need your help with that. Lord, I need wisdom in this area. I need wisdom in that area. So what I'm saying is, make sure that we're just not using this serenity prayer as a fallback to accept whatever it is, whatever we're faced with, and not try to at least fight and not try to change it. Right. And then the second part is and the courage to change things that the courage to change the things that I can. So with the courage, you want to always pray for grace, right? You want to pray for grace along with the courage. You can be bold and courageous and brave all day long, right? But if you don't have, if God doesn't give you the natural ability to change that thing, the physical capability to change that thing, what good is courage, right? Let's say, for example, somebody is short and tiny, and there's a big bully picking on that person, and the bully, let's say this bully's been picking on this person for the longest, and this person's like, okay, I done had it, I had enough. Now this person has the heart. This person is a short, tiny person, right? This person now has the heart and the courage to go up against this huge 250-pound, 6'5", 6'6" dude, right? But the thing is, he can be courageous all day long, but if God doesn't grant him the natural, well, if God doesn't grant him the grace, aka the natural ability to be able to do a thing, the courage, it doesn't even matter, because he's not given a natural ability to actually come up against and fight, and fight the bully, right? Like if God doesn't give him the grace to carry that thing out, if God doesn't give him the natural ability, the grace to actually do that thing, he gonna get his tail whipped. You know what I'm saying? He go up against this bully and he gonna get beat up. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't have the grace that he needs. God didn't give him the ability that he can have courage all day long. He can have this dude have heart. You know what I'm saying? He's small, but he have heart. This dude, he's brave and bold. He's courage. He's courageous. But he can be brave all day, and he can be as bold as he needs to be all day. But if God doesn't give him the grace to carry that thing out, he gonna go up against that bully. He gonna get his tail beat, right? So courage alone is not what you need. You also need grace along with courage, right? In order to get a thing accomplished. So let's not negate the grace part of it, because the grace part is very, very important. You need grace along with courage. You don't want to leave out, we don't leave out grace and just ask for courage, because it ain't gonna really do you no good if you don't have the grace from God to do that thing physically, right? Okay, so that third part, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So, the things that can be changed, are pretty much evident, right? You won't even need wisdom for that. For example, like I said earlier, if you having a boy and you wanted a girl, okay, that can't be changed. That's evident. Your age, you can't change that. That's evident. Your race, you can't change that. That's evident, right? You know what I'm saying? So those things can't be changed. You don't need wisdom to know that you can't change. You don't need wisdom to know that you can't change those things. But if you feel that you need wisdom, Psalms 111:10 says, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So we can always start there, right? We always want to see God in every situation, every circumstance. We always want to see God in it. So if I was to revamp, per se, the Serenity prayer, I would say something like, help me to stand in the power and authority that you have given me in the name of Jesus, to decree and declare a change in situations that seem impossible. That would be my first part. Help me to stand in the power and authority that you have given me in the name of Jesus, to decree and declare a change in situations that seem impossible. Or you can just put whatever your situation is, you can put that in there. and give me the grace I need, in addition to courage, to accomplish what needs to be done. And then I will close it by saying, and Father, I thank you for wisdom in this situation. Speak to me, give me instruction, give me direction, and I will obey. That's how I would typically do the serenity prayer, or something along those lines. So I just want to share that with you. You guys have a blessed day.